Having worked in a number of cities around the UK, I landed in Aberdeen, I guess, with this picture of what a city should look like. That's kind of a global city because of the success of oil and gas. And fair to say, I was a bit disappointed when I landed. So clearly the wealth in the city, but actually, again, as somebody who's worked in a number of cities, I'm kind of benchmarking Aberdeen compared to other cities that I've worked. So quite critical in terms of how I believe the city looked and felt, and having a young family myself, what that experience was like for me and my family when we were in the city. So with that in mind, it was very clear to me that given the business I work for and the city I've now arrived in, that actually I look to make a contribution to say, okay, how can I help the city develop and move on? And as someone who was quite critical, really important that I put my money where my mouth is and say, okay, well, what can I do to help? What can I do to influence? So the bid was a really good fit. I have a budget, which is what the levy payer voted for, and that budget really splits into two parts. A big chunk of that budget goes across to Visit Aberdeen, who are best placed as an organisation to really promote Aberdeen as a place to shop, stay, play on the global scene. And then the other half of that budget is spent on a number of projects, and this year we're focusing on 3 projects, an Easter event that we've just run, and we learned a lot from that event. We're going to do a summer event, but the jewel in our crown will be the Christmas event that we run later this year. This year and next, it's been about developing and getting off the ground a website that levy payers can access, and they can have a really good grasp on what it is the bid is doing, how are we spending their money, how are we delivering a return on their investment. So that's now up and running now. Phase 2 of that is to really develop the social media aspect. So whether you're a levy payer or whether you're a consumer looking to come into Aberdeen, what's on offer. So that's the next bit that we're doing. For this year, we plan to run 3 events. One that we've just run, being the Easter event. We'll be launching a summer event later in the summer, in the school holiday period. But the creme de la creme will be the Christmas event, where we'll be looking to spend approximately twice the amount that we spent this time last year, with a view to really bringing people into the city centre. We've just recently purchased 15 market stalls, and they are market stalls that are available for levy payers to use. The idea there being we're looking to create a bit more theatre in the city and maybe look at things like a roaming market or a themed market, and again, just doing something different to add a bit of vibe to the city centre. I've been really encouraged by the Jazz on the Green. That's something new to Aberdeen. It's still in its very infant stages. Jazz on the Green is one that I think can really build, and we do look forward to supporting that again this year. It's really important that the bid, and certainly me and my team from a marketing and PR point of view, have a really good understanding of what's happening out there in the city. Ultimately, levy payers will expect me to be adding value to the city based on the levy that they've paid. So on some occasions it will be right that we kind of piggyback onto an event that's already taking place, and saying how can we take that to the next level. On other occasions it will be about saying actually there's a gap in the market, or there's an opportunity, or we've identified something in another major city that we believe can work well in Aberdeen, and actually that's what we're going to progress. So it really is a bit of both, but ultimately it's about adding to that diversity in the city. 2 years ago, you would not have seen the same level of engagement in the press, in terms of news stories, in terms of features, in terms of events, and so on that we are running. 2 years ago, you would not have seen the same level of engagement that we have today, whether that be from levy payers or indeed from consumers that are coming into the city. And Facebook's a really good example of that, where we're just seeing massive hikes in terms of the number of followers that we now have in the city centre. So finally, consumers are getting what they've craved for in terms of actually we have an organisation here that's looking to do events-led, an events-led proposition for the city centre.